Parker Schnabel has faced it all, rising from a teenager on Gold Rush to one of the biggest names in gold mining, amassing a staggering 63,000 ounces worth nearly $100 million. But his relentless drive for gold has come at a heavy cost. Just when it seemed like he was on the verge of his biggest score yet, unpredictable events happened, putting millions of dollars and an entire season at risk. Now, as Parker pushes for an ambitious $25 million haul, he's burdened by mounting debt, time running out, and the threat of total collapse. Will this be the last season for him? You might think gold mining is something straight out of the Wild West, but it's very much alive today, and one of the best places to watch it happen is on the channel's hit show Gold Rush. This series takes you deep into the rough and rugged world of gold miners as they chase that shiny fortune. Most of the action happens up in the chilly Yukon in Dawson City, Canada, where the old rush fever is still very real. And one of the biggest names to come out of the series is Parker Schnabel. Parker has been around since Gold Rush first started back in 2010. He was pretty young at the time, just a teenager actually, and only showed up in a few episodes during that first season. But it didn't take long for him to become a fan favorite. You see, Parker's not your typical miner, he's a fiery one, with his quick temper and intense focus. He's got a reputation for being tough as nails. But while you might know Parker for his tough exterior, there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes that you might not be aware of. Let's start with Parker's success. It's no secret that he's managed to pull a lot of gold out of the ground over the years. In fact, his net worth has been estimated to be around $10 million as of 2020. Now, $10 million might sound like a number most folks could retire on, but not Parker. Instead of kicking back and living the good life, he's throwing that money right back into his mining operations, always looking to make his equipment bigger and better. In an interview with Maxim, Parker explained that he's not the type to spend money on flashy things like boats, fancy cars, or mansions. Instead, he joked that his big, expensive sandbox is where most of his money goes. It's clear that for Parker, the thrill of the dig is more valuable than the money itself. Of course, mining isn't a one-man show. Parker's got a whole crew working alongside him, and while we don't know exactly how much they make, it's safe to say that they're doing pretty well when the gold is flowing. But it's not all about the money. Parker's also trying to create something of a family business legacy, which started with his grandfather, John Schnabel. John was a big deal on Gold Rush during the early seasons, running the Big Nugget mine in Alaska. He was a kind and wise man who taught Parker a lot about mining and life in general. But in 2016, John passed away at the impressive age of 96, peacefully in his sleep. Parker shared his gratitude for the support fans showed during that time, noting how special it was for the world to have known his grandfather, even if it was through TV. It was after John stepped down in Season 2 that Parker really stepped into the spotlight on the show. Taking over the mine at such a young age wasn't easy, but Parker was ready. He didn't just want to fill his grandfather's boots, he wanted to take the mining operation to the next level, and that's exactly what he did. By using better technology, hiring skilled workers, and just plain hard work, Parker turned Big Nugget Mine into a major success story. Still, being the boss comes with a lot of challenges, especially in such a dangerous industry. Parker had his fair share of close calls, from getting shot at by angry locals to coming face-to-face with wild animals in the remote wilderness. It's not just the gold that makes this lifestyle risky, it's the rough terrain, unpredictable weather, and the constant pressure to keep finding more gold. Despite all of this, Parker's got no plans of slowing down. Thanks to his grandfather John Schnabel, Parker had a college fund waiting for him from the time he was born in 1994. John Schnabel had built quite a fortune through mining, and he made sure Parker would have no worries about paying for a good education. But Parker had other plans in mind. When John stepped down and handed over the family business, Parker faced a big choice. He could have used that money for college and hit the books, or he could invest it all in mining and take a big gamble on finding gold. Parker, being the bold and ambitious person he is, chose the second option. He poured every penny of that college fund into mining equipment and supplies, ready to dig up his future from the ground rather than from textbooks. For Parker, it wasn't just about finding gold, it was about building a lifestyle and a legacy, just like his grandfather did. Parker's risk paid off pretty early. In Season 2 of Gold Rush, he and his crew managed to dig up 34 ounces of gold, worth around $55,000. It wasn't a massive fortune, but it was enough to make a difference and prove to Parker that he'd made the right choice. From that point on, there was no looking back. Mining became not just his job but his entire life. Now, when people think of gold mining, they probably imagine finding giant nuggets buried in the dirt, but it's not exactly like that for Parker. In a 2017 Facebook Live Q&A, Parker answered questions from fans, revealing some surprising things about his life. One fan asked about the biggest nugget he'd ever found, and he replied that it was only about a quarter ounce, which he estimated to be worth around $1,400. That might sound small, but gold nuggets like that are actually pretty rare these days, at least in the areas where Parker digs. Back in the 1980s, when his grandfather was mining in Haines, Alaska, nuggets weighing 3 to 4 ounces were much more common. Things have changed a lot since then, but Parker still manages to find impressive amounts of gold, even if the nuggets aren't as big. Mining life hasn't always been smooth sailing for Parker. One of his most challenging experiences was during the making of Gold Rush, Parker's Trail, a spin-off series that followed Parker and his team as they retraced the old Klondike Trail. This series included familiar faces like Rick Ness and Carla Ann, but also featured cameraman James Lavelle, who had worked with Parker for a long time. However, this particular journey led to some serious tension between Parker and James. In an interview with Inquisitor, Parker admitted that he and James didn't get along well at all during filming. Parker described it as a clash of personalities, which became a big problem while they were stuck together in close quarters on the trail. According to Parker, he and James had quite a few disagreements, and their relationship hasn't really recovered since. They haven't spoken much since the series ended, and Parker's frustration was evident as he mentioned that some of the things James did really bothered him. This kind of drama isn't unusual for Parker, given his fiery personality. He's always been known to have a short fuse, and working in such tough conditions only adds to the stress. Still, despite these conflicts, Parker keeps pushing forward. Mining is a high-stakes business, and Parker knows that sometimes things just don't work out with everyone you meet along the way. Amid all the challenges, Parker still holds on to deeply meaningful memories, especially those involving his grandfather. When asked during the same Facebook Live Q&A about his favorite memory, Parker quickly pointed to the time he spent being mentored by John. For Parker, it wasn't just about learning the ins and outs of mining, it was about the bond they shared. Those early seasons of Gold Rush showed a genuine closeness between the two, which made it all the more heartbreaking when John passed away in 2016. Parker has often said that maintaining relationships is one of the toughest parts of his life. He mentioned in an interview with Distractify that many of his old friends have moved on, and he doesn't really have time to keep up with them. Mining takes up almost all of his time, but it's clear that his grandfather's influence still guides him. Parker's dedication to mining has always been front and center, but his personal life has also sparked a lot of interest over the years. One of the most talked about parts of his story is his relationship with Ashley Yule, an Australian veterinarian. The two met in 2016, and things seemed to click quickly between them. Ashley even joined Parker in Alaska, stepping right into the rough world of Gold Rush for Season 8. She wasn't just there to cheer him on, she was actively involved, helping out around the camp and working alongside the crew. Fans enjoyed seeing this softer side of Parker as the two navigated the highs and lows of the gold mining life together. However, their relationship didn't last. By Season 9, Ashley was nowhere to be seen on the show, and it was clear that things had ended between them. In 2018, Parker Schnabel opened up about his breakup with Ashley Yule, admitting that he hadn't prioritized their relationship, focusing instead on mining. Though Ashley brought a lighthearted vibe to Gold Rush, Parker's dedication to his career ultimately became an obstacle, and after the split, his love life remained private, fueling fan speculation. Later, in Gold Rush, Parker's Trail, Parker teamed up with Australian gold miner Tyler Mahoney, sparking rumors of romance. The two had natural chemistry and shared a passion for mining, but both clarified they were just friends. Back in Alaska, Parker's high-stakes investment in the Wolfcut site took a hit when a devastating flood engulfed the area. Despite pumping out millions of gallons of water, his crew couldn't keep up. It was a critical moment. Failure here would mean losing an entire season's work. The crew hustled nonstop, trying to clear the flooded muck and build barriers to hold back the water, but time was running out. Parker knew that pulling out of the Wolfcut could mean financial disaster. For someone who had already sunk so much into this one pit, walking away wasn't an option. He needed this site to be successful, not just for his bottom line but for the future of his operation. The chaos of the flood was more than just a setback, it was a wake-up call. As Parker returned to the site after being away, he was met with a muddy mess instead of the clean paid dirt he had hoped for. It was a crushing moment, one that tested his resolve as both a leader and a miner. But Parker was determined not to let the wolf cut be a complete failure. With only 4 feet of muck standing between them and potential riches, he knew he had to keep fighting. As the dust, or rather, the mud, settled from the wolf cut disaster, Parker turned his attention to the future. The stakes only seemed to get higher heading into the upcoming season. In Season 15 of Gold Rush, Parker faces another intense set of challenges. The new season is set to feature record-breaking gold prices, with $40 million in potential paid dirt waiting in the Yukon. For Parker, this season isn't just about hitting big numbers, it's about survival. With the clock ticking on his claim at Dominion Creek, which holds an estimated $200 million worth of gold, Parker has just 6 years left before his license expires. The pressure is on to produce a record-breaking 10,000-ounce season worth an estimated $25 million. But deep debt looms over his operation, and there's little room for error. One wrong move, one unexpected setback, and everything he's built could come crashing down. For someone who's managed to pull in over 63,000 ounces of gold valued at more than $98 million, the prospect of losing it all is unthinkable. The latest updates from Season 15 hint that things won't be easy. In the teaser, it's revealed that one miner, in particular, will falter, threatening to undo everything they've worked for. As Parker's journey unfolds, viewers will see him tackle not just the ground beneath him but also the immense pressure that comes with mining on this scale. With so much at stake, he'll need to make quick decisions, balance risks, and rely on both strategy and luck. Mining has always been about resilience, and Parker's story embodies that more than ever. Despite the devastating setbacks, Parker's spirit remains unbroken. His determination to conquer the odds, even when the ground beneath him turns to mud, is what keeps him coming back each season. For Parker, mining is an addiction, a drive that runs through his veins. It's not just about the gold, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the challenge of the unknown, and the satisfaction of turning dirt into fortune. As the new season unfolds, fans will be watching closely to see if Parker can achieve his biggest goal yet or if the brutal conditions of the Yukon will finally get the best of him. With massive investments, unexpected twists, and the ever-present threat of financial ruin, Parker's journey is far from over. In the world of Gold Rush, victory is never guaranteed. For Parker Schnabel, the stakes are clear, it's either boom or bust, and with everything on the line, he's ready to bet it all one more time.